Hello everyone, I'm Aslı SELÇUK, the chairperson of the Turkish IR Society TÜYİD. I'm very excited to welcome you to our third Sustainability Summit. We have a great lineup of expert speakers, and I would like to thank each and every one of them and our sponsors for their wholehearted support. Sustainability is now dominating the financial market landscape, and we have planned the day to cover the hottest topics on the agenda. The UK and EU have paved the way for net zero, and other regulators around the globe are following suit. In March of this year, SEC made a landmark proposal mandating public companies to disclose extensive climate-related information. China is planning mandatory climate disclosures, and Japan, New Zealand, and Switzerland are enforcing disclosures before 2025. The market for ESG data exceeded $1 billion last year and is expected to grow at 28% annually over the next 5 years. The number of organizations supporting TCFD grew fivefold since 2018 to over 2,600 last year. The financial institutions supporting the framework represent an enormous $194 trillion in assets. In response to the demand for consistent, comparable, performance-based data, the ISSB was established last year, the International Sustainability Standards Board. And in a more recent development, we've seen the industry's first ever partnership to standardize ESG reporting. CalPERS announced they're collaborating with a group of partners to form the ESG Data Convergence Project. This is a milestone commitment of over 100 leading partners representing $9 trillion in assets and over 1,400 underlying portfolio companies. Let me continue to share some more data. According to McKinsey's latest report, spending on physical assets on the course to net zero would reach about $275 trillion by 2050, or an average of $9 trillion per year. Increasing financing requirements and growing investor appetite leads the way for new instruments. The World Bank has launched a groundbreaking new instrument last year, known to the market as the Rhino Bond, in an effort to conserve endangered species. And the recent rising star is sustainability-linked bonds. SLB issuance rose by an impressive 200% year-on-year in the first quarter of this year, while all other labels declined. The SLB market is expected to reach more than doubling and $220 billion this year. However, there are concerns around SLPs with the KPIs, with the use of proceeds. So the long-awaited proposals for the EU Green Bond Standard that aims at higher transparency and accountability is actually critical for the sustainable debt capital markets. 93% of the world economy still embraces the traditional take, make, waste linear economic model, which doesn't price waste or pollution or emissions. But there's a way to make and use things that's better for people and the planet, which is the circular economy. Think about if and how your consumption patterns would change if corporates were in fact required to publish these in their labels and price them. If companies were incentivized to move to a more circular thinking, a more circular design, by maximizing the lifetime of products and materials and designing out waste, what would change? We urgently need to embed circular thinking at every level of the society and business. And today we will discuss circular economy as a solution for a sustainable future in our first panel. Biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse is another major threat for humanity. The latest report by IPCC shows greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise, and the current plans to address climate change are unfortunately not ambitious enough to limit the warming to 1.5 degrees. From 1.5 to 3 degrees, the difference is unfortunately devastating. Biodiversity loss grows from 14% to 29%. The cost of food security triples to $128 billion. Extreme heat days grow from a maximum of 58 to 87 days. Nature-related financial risks coupled with impact on the stakeholders do pose a big threat to corporates. And we will also discuss the impact of ecosystem downgrade on company operations and profitability at our event today. The pressure is piling on policymakers, on companies and investors. More and more companies address sustainability. They appoint chief sustainability officers, they set up KPIs, they prepare disclosures and reports. But does this really mean corporates change their approach? Do we see more companies embracing sustainability at the board level? Does it really drive big strategic decisions? Has it become part of day-to-day operations? Is equality and inclusion part of company culture? Or do corporates continue to see sustainability as a matter of compliance or social responsibility? Is there more focus on marketing? Does it create new silos and reporting layers? Does it increase the risk of greenwashing? Why should sustainability be more than a checklist? We will discuss today. Thank you.